The world changed on a quiet morning. The sun had just begun to rise over the Atlantic Ocean when every telescope, radar, and satellite picked up something impossible. A massive shape drifted into Earth's orbit. It was no asteroid, no human-made station, and no broken piece of space debris. It was a ship. Not a ship of steel and rivets, but something vast, smooth, and shining. It curved like a silver crescent, stretching longer than the tallest mountains on Earth. Its surface glowed softly, not from engines or fire, but from patterns of light that seemed to flow across it like water. At first, panic spread across the nations. Air defenses were prepared. Military units scrambled. Presidents, prime ministers, and generals argued over their screens. Was this an invasion? Was humanity finally about to face a force from beyond the stars? But no weapons fired. The ship drifted silently, waiting. Then, without warning, every device capable of receiving signals, every radio, every television, even the smallest cell phone, buzzed at once. A voice spoke. It was calm, steady, and layered, as if many voices spoke together in harmony. "People of Earth," it said, "do not be afraid. We are the Thalkor. We come not to conquer but to learn. For many ages we have traveled the stars, studying the countless forms of life in the galaxy. We have seen many worlds, many creatures, many minds. Now at last, we have come to you." The voice paused. Across the planet, billions listened in silence. "We ask only this. Allow us to study you. Share with us your knowledge of life, and we will share ours. We wish to understand your kind." The message ended. For hours, the world trembled with confusion. Some believed it was a trap. Others whispered it was a blessing. Religious leaders spoke of prophecy. Scientists argued on live broadcasts. Children asked their parents if the aliens were friendly. And above it all, the Silver Crescent ship waited, unmoving. Finally, after long debate, the nations of Earth agreed on a cautious answer. A group of astronauts, doctors, and scientists would be chosen. They would travel up to the alien ship not with weapons but with curiosity. Humanity would show that it was willing to listen but not foolish enough to surrender. 3 days later, the mission began. A sleek shuttle, small compared to the alien craft, launched from Earth's surface. Inside were 6 humans, each representing a different part of the world. Commander Elena Torres, a veteran astronaut from Spain, led the mission. Beside her sat Dr. Michael Grant, a geneticist from the United States. With them were Dr. Li Wei, a biologist from China, Professor Anika Rao, an anthropologist from India, Colonel Yusuf Khan, a strategist from Pakistan, and finally, Aya Nakamura, a young engineer from Japan who had helped design the shuttle itself. They carried no weapons. Only scanners, computers, and samples of human DNA. As the shuttle approached the alien vessel, the crew held their breath. The closer they came, the larger the ship appeared. Its surface stretched endlessly, smooth and seamless, as if it had been grown instead of built. Strange lights pulsed along its hull, shifting like a living heartbeat. Then, without any visible opening, the surface parted. A tunnel of light unfolded before them. "Looks like an invitation," Commander Torres whispered. The shuttle drifted forward, guided by an unseen force. No one touched the controls. The tunnel carried them gently into the heart of the ship. Inside, they found themselves floating in a vast chamber. Gravity seemed different here, soft and light, as if the air itself held them up. The walls were transparent, showing glimpses of stars outside. Strange shapes moved within the chamber. Tall, slender figures with skin like polished stone and eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. The Thalkor. They did not walk. They glided as if the ground itself carried them forward. Their long limbs flowed like branches in a gentle wind. Though alien in form, there was something graceful, even peaceful about them. One of them stepped forward. Its voice echoed in the minds of the humans, clear and calm. "Welcome, children of Earth. You honor us with your presence." The humans exchanged uneasy glances. Dr. Grant swallowed hard, whispering, "Telepathy. Incredible." The alien continued, "We have studied many species. Each life form carries within it a story. a record of its struggles, its triumphs, its place in the universe. These stories are written in the code you call DNA. If you allow us, we wish to read yours. Commander Torres stepped forward. Her voice was steady, though her heart raced. We have brought samples, hair, blood, tissue, enough to show you what we are. The alien bowed its head slightly, a gesture that seemed both respectful and solemn. Thank you. What we will learn may change much. Please follow. The humans were led deeper into the ship. Hallways unfolded around them, alive with shifting colors and patterns, as if the ship itself responded to their presence. At last, they reached a chamber filled with towering structures that resembled crystal trees. Energy flowed between them, in rivers of light. At the center stood a platform. The alien gestured toward it. Place your samples here. Dr. Grant carefully laid out the containers. A soft hum filled the chamber as beams of light scanned the samples. The crystals began to glow brighter, shifting from blue to gold. The alien stood silently, watching. The light deepened. Strange symbols danced in the air above the platform, forming shapes and patterns too complex for the humans to understand. The alien studied them intently. At first, their silver eyes remained calm. But as the scan continued, something changed. Their bodies stiffened. Their eyes flickered. A low murmur passed among them, though no words were spoken aloud. Professor Rao whispered, "They look unsettled." The leader of the Thalakor raised a hand, as if asking for silence. The crystals glowed even brighter, and then suddenly dimmed. The chamber fell silent. For several long moments, the aliens did not move, their glowing eyes fixed on the humans, not with hostility, but with something else, something deeper. Fear. Finally, the leader spoke, its voice trembling slightly for the first time. "This cannot be." Commander Torres frowned. "What do you mean?" The alien's silver eyes locked onto her. "Your DNA. It is not like the others we have studied. It carries echoes, patterns we believed lost for eons." Dr. Lee leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "Patterns of what?" The alien hesitated as if unsure whether to continue. Then it said softly, "Of the ancients." The humans looked at one another in confusion. The alien stepped back, its glowing form flickering like a candle in a storm. "We must study further. There is more within you than you know, more than we wish to find." The humans could feel the weight in its voice. The chamber remained silent after the scan. The humans stood close together, watching the Thalakor whisper among themselves in their strange telepathic language. The glowing crystals dimmed, but the unease in the aliens' movements was clear. "Commander." Elena Torres crossed her arms tightly, her voice steady but edged with suspicion. "They are hiding something. I can see it in the way they move." Dr. Michael Grant adjusted his glasses, trying to calm his own racing thoughts. "They've seen something in our DNA, something they didn't expect. That reaction wasn't normal." Professor Anika Rao, who had studied cultures her whole life, leaned forward slightly. "Fear. That is what I saw in their faces. Not anger, not curiosity. Fear." Before the crew could debate further, the leader of the Thalakor approached them again. Its tall, silver-lit form shimmered faintly as though struggling to stay calm. "You must come with us," the alien said. Its many-layered voice was softer now, less confident. "There is more we must show you." The humans followed, walking, along corridors that seemed to shift and grow ahead of them. The ship no longer felt like a peaceful place of learning. Instead, it felt like a living maze, leading them deeper into mystery. They entered another chamber, smaller, but filled with strange devices. The walls displayed streams of symbols pulsing with light. In the center stood a tall structure resembling a column of glass, filled with liquid light that swirled and twisted as if alive. The alien gestured toward it. "This is our genetic reader. It does not simply copy information. It reveals the history of life forms, their past struggles, their hidden abilities, their future potential." Dr. Li Wei's eyes widened with wonder. "Future potential? You can predict evolution?" The alien inclined its head. "Not perfectly, but yes. The seeds of what a species may become lie hidden within its code. The human team exchanged glances. The idea was astonishing, to read not only who they were, but who they might one day be. Place your hands upon the column, the alien continued. Let us see together. Commander Torres stepped forward. First, she pressed her hand against the cool surface. Instantly, the liquid light swirled faster, rising like a storm within the column. Symbols spun into the air, creating glowing spirals. The Thalcor leaned closer, their silver eyes flickering. Then the storm calmed. The alien turned slowly toward her. You are stable, it said. You carry strength of will. You would survive hardships. But it is not only you, it is your species. All of you. One by one, the other humans pressed their hands to the column. Each time, the reaction was stronger than before. The symbols multiplied, the light brightened, and the murmurs of the Thalcor grew louder and more troubled. Finally, Dr. Michael Grant stepped forward. He hesitated, looking at his fellow crew members, then pressed his palm to the surface. The reaction was violent. The column blazed with golden light. Symbols exploded outward, filling the entire chamber with patterns of spinning codes. The floor vibrated. The walls pulsed. For a moment, it felt as if the whole ship was trembling in response to his DNA. The Thalcor staggered back. Some covered, their glowing eyes. The humans shielded their faces as the light filled the room. And then, as suddenly as it began, the storm collapsed. The chamber went dark except for a faint glow in the column. Dr. Grant pulled his hand away, trembling. What was that? The leader of the Thalcor's voice was hushed. Your kind carries within it something we have not seen in countless ages. You should not exist. The words hung heavy in the silence. Professor Rao took a cautious step forward. What do you mean? What did you see? The alien raised its gaze slowly, its silver eyes flickering with unease. Human DNA contains redundancies, layers of code upon code. Most species evolve with fragile paths. One mistake, and their kind may die. But you carry hidden systems that repair, adapt, and rewrite themselves. Your DNA is not only a record, it is a weapon. Colonel Yusuf Khan narrowed his eyes. A weapon? We are scientists, not soldiers. The alien shook its head. Not in the way you think. Your DNA is built for survival in ways beyond nature. You heal faster. You resist disease longer. You adapt under stress with a speed other species cannot. And buried deeper still, there are codes we do not understand. Codes that look as if someone placed them there deliberately. Dr. Lee gasped. Deliberately? Are you saying we were designed? The alien hesitated. Its voice dropped lower, as if afraid to be heard even by its own kind. Yes. The humans stood frozen. Designed? By whom? For what? Aya Nakamura whispered, This can't be real. We are the result of evolution. Millions of years of it. The alien's silver eyes darkened. We have studied millions of species. All evolve. All adapt. But none carry the signature your kind carries. Your DNA is unnatural. It is engineered to endure when others fall, to rise again when others are broken. It is as if you were built to survive the end of worlds. A shiver ran through the human crew. Dr. Grant's voice shook. But why would that terrify you? The alien turned toward him, its expression unreadable. Because only one other species ever carried such codes, and they nearly destroyed the galaxy. The chamber fell silent. The Thalcor explained. Long ago, in the deep past of the galaxy, there existed a race they called the Architects. They were beings of immense knowledge and power. It was said they shaped stars, built worlds, and even created life across distant systems. But they were feared too for their endless drive to expand. Their DNA carried the same redundancies, the same hidden codes of survival. And then suddenly, they vanished. Some said the Architects destroyed themselves. Others believed they transcended to a higher state. Whatever the truth, the Thalcor and other ancient species were relieved. For though the Architects were creators, they were also dangerous. Now looking at the humans, the Thalkor whispered among themselves in fear. You, their leader said softly, carry their mark. The humans were stunned. Commander Torres spoke firmly, trying to hold the group together. We are not these architects. We are just people, farmers, teachers, families. We build, yes, but we do not seek to destroy. The alien studied her carefully. Perhaps not yet, but the seeds are within you. Your kind has already shown signs. Wars, survival in the harshest conditions, the ability to adapt faster than any other. We thought you were young, unshaped, a small race in a small world, but now we see you are something else. Professor Rao crossed her arms. So what happens now? Do you fear us? Do you harm us because of what we might become? The alien's silver eyes flickered again. We do not harm, but others will. If they learn of this truth, they will not wait for you to grow. They will seek to end you now, before you awaken what lies inside your blood. The humans exchanged grim looks. The revelation was no gift. It was a danger. Later, as they returned to the quarters given to them, the human crew sat together in silence. Colonel Khan finally spoke. If this knowledge spreads, Earth will become a target. Every species that fears the architects will turn against us. Dr. Grant buried his face in his hands. And yet, part of me wants to know more. What if we could unlock these hidden codes? What if humanity has a potential we have never imagined? Professor Rao frowned. But at what cost? Knowledge can build, but it can also destroy. Commander Torres looked at each of them. Her voice was steady, carrying the weight of leadership. We came here to learn, not to awaken fear. We must be careful. Whatever is inside our DNA, we cannot let it decide who we are. We are human, not monsters, not gods. Yet in the quiet of the night, none of them could forget the way the Thalkor had looked at them. Not as equals, not as enemies, but as something far more unsettling, as something impossible. The Thalkor themselves did not sleep. In their private council, they spoke in hushed tones. Should we warn the galaxy? One asked. If we do, the humans will be destroyed, another replied. If we do not, they may grow into what the architects once were, a third whispered. There, leaders stood in silence, gazing at the glowing patterns of human DNA still hovering above the crystal platform. Finally, it spoke. The galaxy is not ready for this truth, nor are the humans, but the code cannot be hidden forever. It's silver, eyes dimmed. They are the children of the architects, and one day the galaxy will learn what that means. The human crew awoke the next day to a strange silence. The Thalkor ship no longer felt welcoming. The glowing corridors that once shifted with calm light now pulsed with a dim, uneasy rhythm, as though the vessel itself shared the fear of its masters. Commander Elena Torres sat at the table in their quarters, her eyes sharp with thought. They know something they're not telling us, she said. Last night their leader hinted at the architects, but there's more. I could see it in their eyes. Dr. Michael Grant, still shaken by the overwhelming reaction his DNA had triggered, rubbed his temples. If our DNA really carries the architect's mark, then we deserve to know what that means. Who were they? What happened to them? And why do the Thalkor fear them so much? Professor Annika Rao leaned forward, her voice quiet but steady. Knowledge is power, Elena. But knowledge is also danger. If the galaxy learns we are linked to the architects, they will see us not as people, but as a threat waiting to awaken. Colonel Yusuf Khan crossed his arms. Better to face truth than live in ignorance. If our existence alone is enough to inspire fear, then hiding won't save us. We need answers. Aya Nakamura nodded nervously. Then maybe we should ask. If they will not tell us, perhaps we can find another way. Dr. Liwei raised her hand gently. Patience. These beings are old. They have seen much. If they fear the word architect, then the story behind it must be long and deep. We must listen carefully, not demand. As if summoned by her words, the chamber doors slid open. The Thalkor leader entered, its tall frame glowing faintly. Behind it came two more of its kind, their silver eyes unreadable. You wish to know of the ancients, the leader said without greeting. Its layered voice echoed softly through the room. Come. It is time you hear the truth. The humans followed the Thalkor through long corridors that wound deeper into the heart of the ship. At last, they entered a vast hall unlike any they had seen before. The ceiling stretched into shadows filled with drifting lights like tiny stars. The walls shimmered with flowing images, memories perhaps, or visions preserved from long ago. At the center stood a great circle of stone, glowing faintly with symbols carved so deeply they seemed older than the ship itself. This, the leader explained, is our archive of origins. Here we keep the records of the galaxy's oldest stories. Few are permitted to see this place, but you must understand what we see in you. The humans gathered around as the alien raised its hand. At once the walls lit up, displaying images in glowing streams. The story began with a swirl of stars, young and newly born. Worlds were empty, lifeless, cold. Then came figures, tall, radiant, and strange. They were not quite like the Thalkor, not quite like humans, but something greater. Their bodies shimmered like living starlight. Their eyes burned with knowledge. The architects, the alien said, its voice heavy with memory. They were the first great civilization, long before our kind, long before yours. They traveled, the void. They shaped worlds with their hands. Where there was barren rock, they planted oceans. Where there was silence, they seeded life. The glowing figures on the walls stretched out their hands, and barren planets blossomed with green. Creatures of many shapes rose from seas, skies, and soil. The humans watched, their mouths open in awe. Professor Rao whispered, "They created life. Everywhere." The alien nodded. Yes, they believed the universe should be filled with voices, not silence. They scattered their creations across the stars. We, the Thalkor, owe our own beginning to their touch. The humans turned sharply. Even the calm Commander Torres showed surprise. You were made by them too? Dr. Lee asked. The alien bowed its head slightly. In part. Many species carry the architect's influence, but none as strongly as you. The story on the walls shifted. The radiant figures of the architects grew darker, their eyes harder. Their great ships, once used to carry life, now carried fire. But the architects, the Thalkor leader continued, were not gods. They were not perfect. With their power grew pride. With pride came hunger. They began to shape not only worlds, but each other. They altered their own bodies, their own minds. They reached for immortality, for strength beyond limits. They became more than life. They became conquerors. The walls showed great wars. Stars burned, planets cracked. Armies of strange, half-living, half-machine beings marched across galaxies. Colonel Khan clenched his fists. So they created weapons? Yes, the alien said sadly. They created species to fight for them, to serve them, to spread their rule. The galaxy trembled. Many resisted. Many were broken. And yet, for all their might, the architects could not escape the truth. Power consumes those who hold it too tightly. The glowing images shifted again. The mighty figures of the architects fell into chaos. Civilizations they had built turned against them. Their own creations rebelled. Wars shattered their empire. And then, at last, the radiant beings faded from the walls, leaving only ashes and ruin. No one knows how they ended, the Thalkor leader whispered. Some say they destroyed themselves in their pride. Others believe they ascended beyond the galaxy, leaving only shadows. But one truth remains. The architects disappeared, and the galaxy breathed freely once more. The humans stood in silence, the weight of the story pressing on them. Dr. Grant finally spoke, his voice low. And now you look at us, and you see them. The alien's silver eyes fixed on him. Yes, in your DNA we see their echoes, the same redundancies, the same hidden power to adapt, survive, and rise above all odds. You are their children, though you do not remember them. Aya's voice trembled. But we are not them, we are human. We don't want to conquer the galaxy. The alien's tone grew somber. Perhaps, but the galaxy will not care what you want. It will only see what you might become. Fear does not wait for proof. Commander Torres straightened, her voice firm. If what you say is true, then humanity is in danger. If other species learn this secret, they will strike against us before we even understand what we are, Professor Rao added softly. But if it is true, we also have a choice. We can decide not to follow the architect's path. We can be different. The Thalcor leader tilted its head. Perhaps. That is why we have not spoken to the galaxy, yet. We debate even now. Some of us believe you should be destroyed, to prevent another age of terror. Others believe you should be protected, to see if you choose a better path. The humans exchanged troubled glances. Even among the Thalcor, their fate was uncertain. Later, back in their quarters, the humans argued among themselves. Colonel Khan spoke sharply. We cannot let aliens decide our future. If they think we are dangerous, then sooner or later they will act. Dr. Lee shook her head. Violence is not the answer. If we resist, they will see us as exactly what they fear. We must prove through our actions that we are not like the architects. Dr. Grant leaned forward, his eyes burning with quiet intensity. But what if there is more inside us? What if these hidden codes mean we can heal faster, survive better, even evolve under pressure? Shouldn't we learn to use what we are? Aya frowned nervously. You mean unlock the codes? But that could be dangerous. Professor Rao placed a hand on the table, steady and calm. The question is not only what we can do, but what we should do. Power without wisdom is the path of the architects. If we chase it blindly, we risk becoming what they once were. Commander Torres listened, her face unreadable. Finally, she spoke. We cannot run from the truth, but we also cannot let it define us. The Thalcor may fear us, others may hate us, but only humanity can decide what humanity becomes. Her words gave them strength, but also a sense of unease. For outside their quarters, in the endless halls of the alien ship, the Thalcor debated as well. In a dark council chamber, many of the tall, silver-eyed beings gathered. Their voices flowed like currents of wind. They carry the architect's mark, one said. It is too dangerous to let them live. No, another replied. They are young, still unshaped. If guided, they may walk a new path. But, if left alone, they may awaken. And when they awaken, it will be too late to stop them. The leader stood in silence, torn between fear and hope. At last it spoke. We cannot yet decide, but the galaxy must not know. If word spreads, humans will be hunted before they take their first steps into the stars. For now, we guard this secret. But secrets do not last forever. The Earth shuttle floated quietly inside the alien vessel, but the human crew felt the air grow heavy with tension. Days had passed since they learned the truth. Their DNA carried the mark of the long-lost architects. The Thalcor tried to remain calm, yet their silver eyes flickered with unease whenever they looked at the humans. The humans felt it too. Commander Elena Torres sat at the round table in their quarters, staring at the ceiling where faint lights pulsed like a heartbeat. They don't trust us, she said firmly. Even if they say nothing, their silence tells me everything. Dr. Michael Grant leaned forward, his hands trembling slightly. Can you blame them? If what they say is true, then humanity has a potential no other race carries. If I were in their place, I might be afraid too. Colonel Yusuf Khan's deep voice cut in. Afraid or not, they have no right to decide our fate. We didn't choose this DNA. We didn't ask to be children of the architects. If the galaxy wants to treat us as enemies, then we will have no choice but to fight back. Professor Anika Rao frowned at him. Fight back with what, Colonel? Earth barely has ships to reach the moon. These beings cross galaxies. If they wanted, they could erase us without effort. Aya Nakamura, quiet until now, whispered, Then maybe our strength is not in weapons, but in something else. Maybe it's in who we are. The room fell silent at her words. None of them had an answer. That silence ended a few hours later. Humans were called once again to the great hall of the Thalcor ship. But this time, the atmosphere was not one of learning or stories. The walls glowed red, like a warning. Dozens of Thalcor stood waiting, their tall forms stiff and uneasy, The leader stepped forward. Children of Earth, it said. The galaxy knows. The humans froze. Commander Torres narrowed her eyes. What do you mean? The alien's voice carried sorrow. Our ship was watched. Others observed our study of you. They heard whispers of the architect's mark. They have carried the news across the stars. Now a coalition of species comes to your world. They fear you. They will not ask questions. They will strike. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Dr. Li Wei's voice trembled. Strike? Earth? Yes, the alien answered softly. They come to destroy your kind before you awaken. Colonel Khan slammed his fist on the table before him. Then we must defend ourselves, but Aya's eyes filled with fear. With what? Our weapons are nothing compared to theirs. The leader's voice turned heavy. That is why you are here. We cannot choose your path for you. Some among us wish to abandon you to leave Earth to its fate. Others believe you should be given a chance to survive. But survival will test what lies within your blood. The humans were guided to another chamber, vast and alive with strange machines. The floor glowed with symbols, the air thrummed with energy. This is a proving ground, the alien explained. It can simulate conditions of battle, of pressure, of fear. We will see if your hidden codes awaken. We will see if you are truly the children of the architects, or something else. The humans exchanged glances. Dr. Grant whispered, They want to test us. Commander Torres clenched her jaw. Then we'll show them who we are. The test began. The chamber shifted, its walls dissolving into visions of burning skies and falling stars. The humans found themselves standing on a replica of Earth's surface, except above them, alien ships darkened the sky. Explosions shook the ground. The air filled with fire. Stay together, Torres shouted. Colonel Khan moved first, pulling the others behind cover as glowing blasts struck the ground. The simulation was not real, but it felt real. Heat, sound, and the sting of dust against their skin. Dr. Li gasped. It feels like war. The alien voice echoed through the chamber. Your body knows the difference between peace and danger. Let us see how it responds. The attack grew fiercer. Strange. Machines shaped like beasts of metal charged across the field. The humans had no weapons, only their will. Torres grabbed a metal rod from the ground, swinging it against one of the machines. Sparks flew. Aya, panicked, threw a rock, and to her shock, her aim was perfect. The rock struck the machine's weak point, shattering it. I don't know how I did that, she gasped. Colonel Khan pulled her up. Instinct. Faster than thought. Dr. Grant, struggling to breathe, realized something else. His cuts and bruises, though painful at first, faded quickly. The blood on his skin slowed, the wounds closing faster than they should. He stared at his hands in disbelief. It's happening. Our DNA is responding. The simulation grew harder. More enemies came. The ground itself cracked. Yet the humans fought not with weapons but with courage and strange bursts of ability. Aya moved with speed she had never known. Li Wei dodged blasts as though she could sense them before they came. Colonel Khan lifted beams heavier than his body should allow. Professor Rao, though not a soldier, calmed the group with words so steady that fear itself seemed to fade. And Torres, always a leader, saw patterns in the chaos. She guided them through the battlefield with flawless timing, predicting enemy movements with near-perfect precision. The Thalcor watched in silence as the humans endured. Finally, the storm faded. The battlefield dissolved. The chamber returned to its calm glow. The humans stood breathing heavily, their clothes torn, their bodies covered in sweat, but alive. They had passed the test. The Thalcor leader stepped forward, its voice filled with awe and fear. You are more than we believed. Your hidden codes awaken under threat. You heal, you adapt, you strike with instinct beyond logic. This is the mark of the architects, but also something new. Perhaps you are not only their children, you may be their evolution. Dr. Grant whispered, Then we can survive the coalition. We can protect Earth. But the alien's silver eyes darkened. Be warned, survival is not victory. The coalition comes with fleets beyond counting. Your world is young. Even with your gifts, you may fall. Commander Torres stepped forward, her voice steady as steel. Then we will fight anyway. Humanity has always fought for survival. We do not run from fear. The alien studied her for a long moment. At last, it bowed its head. Then we will stand beside you. Not all of us agree, but I will not abandon you. The Thalcor will give what aid we can. Far beyond the ship, in the deep reaches of space, the coalition fleet was already gathering. Ships of many shapes and colors drifted together. Long, serpentine vessels, jagged metallic giants, glowing spheres of light. Each carried weapons powerful enough to shatter mountains. Their leaders spoke through encrypted channels. The humans are the seed of the architects. They must be destroyed before they awaken. Agreed, strike at Earth, leave nothing behind. The fleet turned its course toward the small blue planet that had only just begun to reach the stars. Back aboard the Thalcor vessel, the humans prepared. Aya worked tirelessly with alien tools, adapting Earth technology with what the Thalcor offered. Colonel Khan trained with holographic simulations, learning to command against impossible odds. Dr. Grant studied the scans of their DNA, desperate to understand how their abilities could be strengthened. Professor Rao spent hours recording their story, determined that even if they fell, the truth would remain. Dr. Lee worked side by side with Thalcor healers, comparing human biology to alien forms, and Commander Torres stood at the observation window, staring at Earth below. The blue oceans shimmered, the green continents glowed under sunlight. So fragile, so beautiful. She whispered to herself, "We will not let them take it." The Thalcor leader joined her, its silver eyes reflecting the earth. "Your world stands on the edge of history," it said softly. "If you survive, the galaxy will never be the same. If you fall, the echo of the architects will fade forever." Torres turned her gaze toward the stars. "Then we will survive. Humanity has faced fire, ice, famine, and war. We are still here. And if the galaxy wants to test us, let it come." The alien bowed its tall head in respect. Far away, the coalition fleet drew closer. The test of survival was no longer a simulation. It was coming, real and unstoppable. The coalition fleet moved like a shadow across the stars. Hundreds of ships from dozens of alien races united with one purpose: to erase humanity before its hidden strength could grow. Their leaders believed Earth carried danger, a danger that must be destroyed. On board the Thalcor vessel, the human crew prepared for the storm. The glowing halls that once felt strange now felt like a second home. But no comfort could erase the truth. They were facing impossible odds. Commander Elena Torres stood at the central deck, staring at the fleet map. Red lights spread across the display, showing the incoming armada. The Thalcor ship was only one among many, a single drop against an ocean. Colonel Yusuf Khan folded his arms, his face stern. "We will need every second, every trick. Earth's defenses are weak, but we cannot let fear control us." Aya Nakamura adjusted alien tools on a console, connecting them to human designs. "I can integrate Thalcor shield emitters into Earth's satellites. It won't stop the fleet, but it will buy time." Dr. Michael Grant ran his hand through his hair, exhausted but determined. "Our DNA is awakening. I saw how we healed, how we moved in the simulation. We need to train. We must learn what else we can do." Professor Anika Rao's voice was calm, steady. "If humanity falls, history will only remember fear. But if we survive, the galaxy will remember our courage." Dr. Li Wei added softly, "And we are not alone anymore. The Thalcor stand with us." The leader of the Thalcor stepped forward, silver eyes glowing faintly. "Yes, we will not let your light die without a fight. The galaxy must learn that fear is not reason enough to destroy." The humans nodded. The choice was clear. They would stand together. The training days turned into nights aboard the ship as the crew pushed themselves to the limit. The Thalcor built simulations harsher than before to draw out the humans' hidden abilities. Colonel Khan discovered strength far beyond his limits. He lifted weights and objects no ordinary soldier could. But more than raw strength, he found control. He could focus his energy to move faster, strike harder, endure longer. Aya Nakamura found precision. Her hands, once only skilled in engineering, now moved with impossible accuracy. She could repair systems in seconds, hit targets without aiming, and sense weaknesses in machines as if they spoke to her. Dr. Li Wei's gift was different. She could feel danger before it arrived, a strange intuition guiding her to move, to warn, to protect. In battle simulations, she pulled her teammates out of fire before the shot was even fired. Professor Rao's strength was not physical, but mental. Her words carried weight, her calm voice steadying the hearts of her team. Even Thalcor soldiers listened when she spoke as if trust itself flowed through her. Dr. Grant healed faster than the rest, but his true gift was understanding. His mind processed alien science as if he had studied it all his life. He began to unlock secrets of the Thalcor ship, bridging the gap between human and alien knowledge. And Commander Torres, she became the center of them all. Her leadership sharpened. She could see patterns in chaos, predict enemy strategies, and guide her team with flawless timing. In simulations, they moved as one, like a single body. The Thalcor leader watched with awe. You are not only awakening, you are becoming something the galaxy has never seen. Together, you are more powerful than any weapon. The arrival at last, the day came. The Coalition fleet entered Earth's orbit, blotting out the stars with their massive warships. Cities below looked up in terror as the sky filled with alien lights. Governments panicked, armies scrambled, but no weapon of Earth could compare. From the Thalcor ship, the humans watched. Their hearts ached at the sight of their home, so fragile beneath the looming fleet. Commander Torres clenched her fists. We will not let them take our world. The alien voice of the Coalition thundered across communication channels. Children of the Architects, surrender your world. Humanity is forbidden. If you resist, Earth will burn. Torres replied with steady defiance. This is our home. We will never surrender. Her words were simple, but they carried across the stars. The first shots were fired. The battle for Earth, the sky lit with war. Alien ships unleashed beams of light and fire, striking Earth's upper atmosphere. But Aya's modifications worked. Earth's satellites glowed, projecting shields that blocked the first waves of destruction. Colonel Khan led squads of Thalcor fighters, striking with speed and force. Dr. Li guided them with her strange intuition, warning them of ambushes before they happened. Aya repaired damaged systems mid-battle, her hands moving faster than thought. Dr. Grant coordinated with Thalcor scientists, redirecting power flows, keeping shields alive when they should have failed. Professor Rao's voice echoed through every channel, steady and strong, keeping both humans and Thalcor focused. And Torres. She commanded the chaos. She predicted enemy formations, moved ships like chess pieces, and turned hopeless battles into moments of victory. But the enemy was endless. For every ship destroyed, more appeared. For every wave stopped, another came. The humans pushed their new abilities to the edge, but the Coalition pressed harder. At last, the Thalcor leader turned to Torres. The fleet is too many. We cannot win by strength alone. Torres closed, her eyes, breathing deeply. Then she understood. It was never about strength. It's about showing them who we are. The awakening. The humans gathered at the central chamber, linking themselves to the heart of the Thalcor ship. The machines scanned their DNA, amplifying their abilities, connecting their minds. A surge of light filled the chamber. The humans gasped as their senses expanded. They felt each other's thoughts, each other's fears, each other's courage. They were no longer 6 individuals. They were one. The Thalcor leader whispered in awe. This is what the Architects intended. The humans projected their unity outward. Across communication channels, across the battlefield, a signal pulsed. Bright, steady, undeniable. It was not words, but feeling, courage, hope, defiance. The Coalition ships hesitated. Their soldiers, connected through their own systems, felt the wave of human spirit. For the first time, they saw not monsters, not a threat, but beings who loved their home, who fought for survival, who refused to bow. Some ships broke formation. Some refused to fire. Doubt spread across the fleet like wildfire. And then, for the first time in history, the coalition hesitated. The turning point Torres seized the moment. This is humanity. We are not destroyers. We are not your enemy. We are survivors. If you strike us down, you destroy hope itself. But if you let us live, we will stand beside you, not against you. Her voice, amplified by the awakening, carried. Across every ship, every mind, silence followed, a silence heavier than battle. Finally, one alien commander spoke. They are not the architects, they are something new. Another followed. If they are destroyed, we destroy the future. The fleet fractured. Some ships turned away. Others powered down their weapons. Only a few remained, unwilling to accept peace. But now, they were outnumbered. The battle ended, not with Earth's destruction, but with the galaxy's choice. Aftermath. When the skies cleared, Earth was still standing. Cities damaged, skies scarred, but alive. Humanity had faced the galaxy's judgment and survived. The Thalkor ship descended to Earth carrying the human crew as heroes. People across the planet cheered as they stepped onto their home soil. For the first time, Earth looked to the stars not with fear, but with pride. Professor Rao recorded the event as history's turning point. This is not only the survival of humanity. This is the awakening of a new age. Dr. Grant shared knowledge with scientists across Earth, blending human and alien science into new discoveries. Aya helped rebuild satellites, turning them into defenses and beacons of peace. Dr. Lee worked with healers, her intuition guiding cures and protection. Colonel Khan trained new soldiers not for war, but for defense and unity. And Commander Torres stood before the United Earth Council, her voice steady. The galaxy has tested us. We did not break. We will not hide. Humanity will walk among the stars, not as slaves of fear, but as partners of hope. The council and the people stood and applauded. Above, the stars seemed brighter. The legacy. The Thalkor leader visited Torres one final time before leaving. Your path will not be easy. Some still fear you. But today you proved that fear does not define destiny. You are not only the children of the architects, you are the builders of a future the galaxy has never seen. Torres bowed her head. Then we will build it. Together. The alien smiled faintly, its silver eyes glowing like stars. Then humanity has truly awakened. With that, the Thalkor ship rose into the sky, leaving Earth behind. But not alone. For the first time, humanity knew its place was not only on Earth, it was among the stars, and so began the Age of Awakening,